Well, like if I were to rank them, we can do a little ranking here. I would like that. But I think like my ranking of the easiest to the hardest is like yellow, blue, green, red, black. That's the way I would do it. How would you do it?
I would swap blue and green around, but
Yeah, green and blue swap.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
I feel like you can do blue by accident just by having a lot of people.
Yeah,
But
it's just
green,
if blue
you
gets
can
on a
mess up.
tank, if blue gets on a tank, like when the tank's positioned somewhere, it's kind of wonky. So blue is only bad because of that. But
I'm
aside
moving
from that,
blue. It's harder, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I don't remember red at all. Like I think we did red the first week,
The
and I don't
healing
even
one.
know. I guess their healing just must have been amazing. I think we lost a lot of people to it, but I just was like I was ignoring them. I think a lot of world buffs were lost to that.
It kind of
Yeah, you just
What
gotta
about
take
combos, though? Like what's like the hardest combo of affixes? Because you have to do 3 to get max loot, right? And then one of them is like forced on you.
I kind of like that. You remember Halfus in Cataclysm where they chose all 3 affixes that you would have to do on that guy? And like, if you got
How
like
could I
2 of the
forget?
worst ones, oh yeah, how could we forget that boss in particular? We only been stuck on that guy for 2 hours. And then a French guy started yelling at me.
That PTR session caused C-Dank to switch to Alliance. I haven't
ruined
talked to him since.
I think the red affix is definitely the hardest one though. Besides like obviously like doing black, but I think red because like if you don't have good healers and the healers are not aware of it, like really healers can ruin your run. To be honest with you,
Yeah,
If they're
I
just
would
not-
agree
if
with
they're just
that.
not paying attention. To be honest, because like the other ones are very simple. Blue you stack, green you move out. The stop and go, whatever. But like the red one is like it's a healing thing.
An organized guild that knows what the black affix does is definitely gonna be like way easier than the red affix, because the red affix you gotta deal with even if you're awesome or if you suck, but the black one is
Yeah.
like
I will say though, this is where it gets a little bit buggy. There are weird things that can happen with some of these affixes that aren't like well thought out. For example, the stop and go mechanic. So you could have the stop and go on Ebonhardt and Flamegore. It's like Squid Game, right? You have the girl like she turns around and then she like says something and then she shoots everybody. Like it's sort of like that. So like, you could have the green FX right when it says to go, like at the exact identical time. Or you could have it when you stop. So it's like I had the stop mechanic right when the green like put it on the ground for my character, and then I almost died. So like I think there are gonna be some hilarious clips of things happening where like a really bad combination of things that wasn't thought out happens back to back.
that's what happened to me on like the first week we did Ebonrock and Flamegore, and we couldn't kill it because of the DPS check at the end. And I go like, okay guys, don't worry, we're gonna unboon, everything is gonna go perfect. And I was doing a
Oh,
different
no.
strat. Yeah, bro. I was doing a different strat back then where like I would have like just one hunter with me and a healer instead of doing half the raid and half the raid. Don't ask me why I changed it. And like basically like we got lucky the first couple pulls and we didn't notice it. But like then the pull when we unboon, the healer and the hunter get the blue affix on them and they blow up and I die.
Yeah, we
The
had that
boon
same thing
pull.
happen. Our warlock tank got the blue FX for some reason, and he didn't have enough soakers. Like it was just like great because we only had like 2 people there.
Damn.
Good
I
time.
can just pyro it out now. Haha, take that.
He's gonna brag about his Spyro every 10 minutes.
Yes, I got a
Damn
cool
Spyro
shield.
shield.
it's honestly
Damn.
such a goofy shield. You see everyone else like the dark grimness, and like Spyro.
Damn Spyro shield, man.
I
Unbelievable.
got the sword of bloodthirst. I am a monster on my quest for vengeance, and then I brought this fairy dragon. You know, it reminds me of the South Park episode, the Guitar Hero one, where he's chasing the dragon and like he's high on heroin. And, like the dragon is like, oh yeah, let's go, and it's like a cartoon world because he's good, like
Yeah.
baked. That's me though. It kind of grew on me because it is like so gigantic as a shield that it kind of looks cool on a torrent, just because like it melts into my back or something. I don't know.
It looks cool. I think it looks cool, in fairness.
I miss the Draconian
I
Deflector though. I like that shield. It's simple and just works, you know?
I actually have a question real quick. So we're talking about like affixes and things of that nature. Like we know AQ40 is next. We might be lucky and get Karazhan or whatnot. What kind of affix and things would you like to carry forward? Like what should the difficulty thing be? Because they're gonna do another difficulty thing, right? Like obviously, but like what should they do? Like what do you guys think would be like the ideal improvement from MC's Heat to Black Winglet's affixes? Like what would be the best way forward in your opinion?
I would slowly make it less impactful until they remove it, like they are doing right now.
What did they do in Season of Mastery? There was like a whole thing for AQ40. That was really when they went hard on it, right? They had like you could change the difficulty and like add, I don't know, it was crazy, right? It was like really difficult stuff.
Khotun was
you
impossible,
got, like,
I
extra
remember
loot.
that. Like nobody could do Khotun in Mastery.
what if like let me ask this though, like what if they don't do a difficulty system, but what if they actually actually just add different phases to bosses that change their whole mechanics as a whole. Like, what if they like, change the bosses in there where it's like, oh, you thought the phase was over, but there's another thing about this boss that has another element of like surprises awaiting, and it's no longer like, okay, everyone picks this difficulty or that difficulty, but it's all equaled out. It's all the same for everybody, but it's just more actual
Variety.
different abilities, different variety, different rotation, more phases, and like there's other implementations to bring to the raid, rather than like everyone saying, okay, are we doing the mythic clearing now of Sod, or are we doing the normal clearing of Sod? It's all the same. I honestly think they should go back to that approach. That's just my personal opinion, because like this like split divide on what players should be playing and not be playing. I mean, it's nice to give people options. I mean, maybe that's something they're adopting from retail, because it really is a retail thing that they're adopting. But I just think it would be cool if it's all under just one hood, and it's like, okay, the whole actual raid is changing. I mean, what are your guys' opinions on that?
Honestly, like,
I agree
the
with
thing
that.
about hard
Yeah.
modes is you gotta entice people to do them, so you gotta give them more loot or better loot or something. And like, if they do the flex mode, which I think has been really successful, at least from me, I've been enjoying the raid a lot more with the flex mode on it. Like, the meta is just to do like the hard modes with 5 more people, honestly.
I don't mind flex, but like the question is like, would you prefer affixes or actual raid changes?
I mean, I like the affixes. It does kind of suck that there's like heat. Heat was a good example where everyone was doing a different version of the raid, and so it felt like the player base was kind of disconnected from each other a
Yeah.
little bit, at least. I mean, people never did Heat 3, and so I mean,
Yeah,
I was doing a
exactly.
different raid than everyone else.
True.
15%
Yeah.
of the player base was the only people that ever saw the last boss that they added.
Yeah, you don't even get the last boss. That's so weird to me. You don't get the last boss in the other Heat modes. I really didn't
Yeah.
even realize that until like a week ago.
I mean, like, it's a flaming chicken nugget that people hated anyway, but it would have been a little cool if I
I
could
thought
at
it
least
was-
see it.
It's the best
Respect
new
the
boss.
spicy nugget.
It's the best new boss in WoW history, and I don't know what you guys are being really mean right now.
Yeah, like, the lore of it is so impressive, bro.
The disrespect
It's
on
like-
the meatball, my Italian
It's like
heritage.
the new.
It's
It's
crazy.
better than Queen Ansarek, let me tell you. Mythic Queen Ansarek versus Meatball.
Can you
I know what I
imagine that
mean.
that was the final boss of like WoW in like retail? Mythic Neverbar Palace. The last boss was a spicy
so sick,
void
though.
meatball.
The
It's the
void
void
meatball. The meatballs collide.
Yeah, like,
That'd
I don't
be
know,
really
like,
good.
the
Real
Molten
Italian
Core is the
there.
last boss of the Molten Core. What if for AQ40 we just gotta fight 40 Qs and 40 As? That's the way I would do it.
There's a model in game called the Blackwing Lair. It's an actual thing in game,
Oh,
and it's
no,
called
Oh,
the
God.
Blackwing Lair. And it's like I think they made it as a joke, or it was just like a placeholder prop within Blackwing Lair. But it's just like a human who's called the Blackwing Lair. It's not even a
I
joke.
have an idea on this. Okay, it's a city. We have to fight on Courage, and it's like a giant city on like with legs, and he's like walking around like hitting us. It'd be so sick, right? I mean, that'd be so sick.
Yeah, the
You're
final
fighting
boss
a-
of Naxxramas should be the Naxxramas, and we're fighting the citadel itself. Like,
Oh my god, it could be
What
like
if
the
it's
pyramid
just
head
a
guy.
demolition job? The entire fight is a demolition job, and I'm like, oh, Jerome, we got the wheelbarrow face, and he's like, no, Medina, the crane mechanic is pumping right now. I gotta pick it up.
Oh my god, don't drop the wrecking ball, bro. We gotta.
Dust
Come
the
on, man.
bricks.
Dude, the wrecking ball job, very important.
Oh no, for real.
There's also somebody who has to like dust off everything after they finish demolishing, right? You got to get rid of all the dust and the debris.
Okay, boys, here comes the enraged. Get inside the porta potty.
The porter potty.
Your vision of WoW is very different than mine for some reason.
I don't know, man. That sounds a lot cooler than the Molten Core, let me tell you that.
Whoever made that is every time people make fun of it, their heart must fall so much, dude.
They had a meeting of 8 people or so, and like nobody in that meeting had the guts to tell Agren that it was stupid. Like that's just
Well,
crazy. That's just crazy.
He's had it on his whiteboard for 10 years, so he's been dreaming of this meatball.
Oh god. I hope that's not true.
He's been hungry for this one meatball for 10 years. He hasn't seen a meatball since. That's funny. That's good.
He wanted to make a cross promotion with Subway, but they scratched it at the last minute because
The
of
whole
a marketing
team went to
deal.
Olive Garden the night before the pitch meeting, and they
Dude,
just had such good meatballs that they just
Bro,
knew they
I'll
had
keep
to-
it a buck. If I'm at that Olive Garden with them, I'd f up some breadsticks.
dude,
Oh,
don't
wait,
talk about
wait.
You're making me want Olive Garden. I want breadsticks now.
Don't get me
On a
wrong,
budget.
bro. Don't
You
get me
guys
wrong,
make
bro.
fun of the meatball, but the other option was a breadstick, so.
Yeah, if it was a bread, if it was a big meatball, but all around it was a bunch of breadsticks, I don't know whether I'd be able to complete that raid. I'd be hungry the whole time.
Like, I don't know why they didn't, like, the meatball's cool, but like part of me is like wondering, like, that meeting to design the 11th boss, like, out of everything they pitched, why
That was
the
the
meatball
one, right?
the best option? Yeah, like what were the other options that the meatball was the best option? Like, they had to have thought of like Uber Ragnaros or like Major Domo coming back as like enraged Domo or some shit like.
True.
Meatball.
They should have let us grab the breadsticks that were around the meatball, and then the
You're
residue
100%
from the
right.
meatball that was going into the lava pit was like a nice pot of sauce, and we
And
would
there should have
grab
been
the
like
breadsticks.
little butter pats that you could put on the
Yes,
breadstick.
little butter
to really
packets, and
elevate
then
it up. Yeah.
and we dip, and we continue dipping, and we use the weapon
And
to
instead
get
of
him down
lava,
to
you get
25%.
pasta sauce.
And when
Yes,
he's at
you get all pasta sauce.
15%, and when he's at 15%, like a small dessert comes down. Now that could be a chocolate cake, that could be a
turtle
cheesecake, that could be, you know, a little
vanilla ice
pie,
cream?
some options. Yeah. Now we're playing WoW. Now we're playing WoW.
You know, I said this, and I don't know if you guys agree with me, but this is what I've been saying all the time. All they had to do was grab a random fire elemental from retail. They got 20 of those models already. There's not a lot of work. All they gotta do is get that guy in the raid, call him Ragnaros Jr., and nobody would have complained. That's all they had to do. That's all they
He's
had
like
to do,
really
bro.
tiny though. We're talking like 2 feet tall. He's like a little kid Ragnaros.
Ragnaros Jr., yes.
Yeah,
That's
I
it.
like that. He's very small.
I mean,
Hate Spark
dude,
the Tiny.
I mean, dude, memes aside, I said so many things, like, even early on in phases where I thought it was cool, like, if they wanted really to tie the whole Void thing with Xalatath into Sod, they could have manipulated Ragnaros, they could have manipulated Nefarian, she could have been manipulating the timeline within BWL, Molten Core, she could, like, there could have been so many cool things that, like,
Bro,
changed the phases, but...
Imagine if they
we didn't get
just
none of
have
that.
Rag come back and he just has like a shadow like glow on him. Like that would be
Yeah.
enough. And Xalatath shows up for like 5 seconds.
That would
And
have
that's
been
it.
yeah.
Like, that would be
Honestly,
enough.
the jailer should be there. The jailer should
And-
have been pulling the strings from the beginning.
And it doesn't even need to be Xalatath. It could just be like a portal opens up like in the sky, and then just her toes dangle down, and it's just Xalatath's
God.
feet, and it's just the toes, and we know it's Xalatath because we've seen those toes before.
And there is not even any loot, and people just want to do the raid anyway.
Yeah, and it's just toe. Maybe the next boss is a toe boss. Maybe the next boss is the foot in AQ, the foot of AQ, the foot of AQ.
How have they not hired you yet? Is my question.
I
really.
don't get it.
I don't
get
either.
it. What's going on? I'm getting packed. That's what's going on, man. I'll tell you that much right now.
Ooh, someone in chat just said for Nax they should do the Ziggurat, where after KT you kill KT, you have like a timed instance, so you have 2 minutes, you have to, or like 3 minutes, you have to kill Trash and escape Nax Ramus, like run out.
That's cool.
Ooh.
And that should be
we're
the
just-
final
we're just
boss
robbing-
of Nax.
We're
Yeah.
just stealing from Escape from Tarkov now. What won't they steal? We're just making.
That's a baller idea. Like, on God,
I
that's
know it
fucking
is.
sick.
It's sick, dude.
Sometimes you got to steal in order to make the best ideas happen.
Dude, how
do
much
this all
better
the
would it
time.
be at the end of the raid? Instead of everyone handing out loot, you're like running for your lives and like grabbing everything you can.
And you forget to loot the boss, and when you want to pick it up, it exploded, so you can't.